Hello and welcome to 586. My name is Ashley Cartel Johnson. I prefer to go by Ashley. I am thrilled to get to know you this term and very much looking forward to this time together. So welcome to our learning community. I thought I would take a few minutes today to review a few things in the syllabus, to just do a quick overview check-in for the course, and then each week I will do a weekly check-in on Mondays to orient you to the week, and so I will begin that here shortly. Again, welcome. I am very, very excited. I have been teaching at Miami since 2009. I love teaching teachers. I was a middle school teacher for many years. I taught students with disabilities and love teaching specifically methods classes so that I can share with my students my own teaching experiences and the many things that I have learned along the way. At Miami, I teach in both our graduate and undergrad inclusive special ed programs, and I also teach and coordinate our disability studies program. It's very important to me to incorporate my experiences and my knowledge about disability studies into my special education courses. So again, welcome. All right, well, let's jump right into our syllabus. I have my office phone listed here. I am happy for you to contact me on my cell phone if you need anything, especially a quick response. Feel free to call me or text me. I truly don't mind at all. I'm not accessible via my office phone very often because of a heavy teaching load. My cell phone number is 614-270-1750. And email me anytime. I always do my best to get back to students as quickly as possible and certainly within 24 hours. But if you need a quick response on something that's very important, please don't hesitate to send me a text message or to call. All right, so welcome to our methods class. You will find in the overview video for the course an explanation of the conceptual framework. And so we have, as a program, pulled together a conceptual framework that is based off of the first article that you're going to read this week called The Big Ideas in Special Education. And so this term we're going to dive deeply into these four methodologies: specially designed instruction or SDI, high leverage practices, HLPs, explicit instruction, as well as intensive instruction. And so each week you will learn more about one of these methodologies, and then we will engage in a virtual field experience to apply and dig deeper into these four methodology areas. So the student learning outcomes, I'd like for you to look through the syllabus more thoroughly, but just to briefly describe, we will be focusing on, of course, methods applied in inclusive settings, looking at the evaluation process specific to eligibility for special education services, as well as formal and informal assessments. We will be looking through RTI models of identification as well as the MTSS process. We'll be focusing on lesson planning, specifically lesson plans that are universally designed and heavily laced with assistive technology and instructional technology, making sure that our lesson plans are as accessible as possible. And then we'll be diving into IEPs and ETRs, or evaluation education plans and evaluation team reports. And then the last thing I want to cover in the syllabus is our required text. And so this is a new text by Andratesha Fitzgerald titled Anti-Racism in UDL, Building Expressways to Success. I just recently found and read this, and I was so excited about it that I decided to incorporate it into our course via a book study. So I think you will really enjoy reading this text. We won't have a traditional textbook, but rather we'll have lots of readings each week that will take place of a traditional text. All right, then I want to share with you, as I mentioned, each week a weekly overview just to help you get started as you navigate through the week. You will have readings each week and then some activities to integrate the content, engage in discussions with the content, and then to apply. So you'll have application assignments each week as well. The focus of this week is an introduction to CRT, or culturally responsive teaching. We'll look at culturally responsive pedagogy, and then we're really going to focus on universal design for learning, which is one of the kind of the North Star for this class, that everything that we do is we incorporate those four different methodologies. We always want to do that in a universally designed way. And so this week I have 4 readings for you. The first is the Big Ideas piece that I mentioned, where you'll be doing a deep dive into SDI, HLPs, EI, and II. I'd like for you to really take your time as you read this, take lots of notes, as this will be sort of the overarching theme that we dive into more deeply throughout the term. And then I have 3 related pieces here as we start to explore culturally responsive teaching and universal design for learning. The second piece is by David Conner, Cripping the Curriculum, and so he writes from a disability studies and education lens. This is something that is maybe new in your learning, and I'd like for you to really think through these important themes that he identifies in this Cripping the Curriculum piece. And then for your application this week, we're going to be thinking about how you yourself can cross-pollinate culturally responsive pedagogy and teaching and universal design in your own teaching. Okay, so your first activity to integrate these readings is to define in your own words these 4 practices. You'll do that in a text, just in a text submission. And then we'll have 2 discussions this week. One will be just talking openly about these last 3 readings that you have. And I want for you to just think through and describe cultural responsive teaching, cross-pollinating cultural responsive teaching and universal design for learning, and to start to think about what that looks like in your classroom. And then I'd like for you to also have an open discussion with your classmates about how we can make specially designed instruction, high leverage practices, explicit instruction, and intensive instruction practices culturally responsive. And so that isn't something that's highlighted explicitly in that Big Ideas text, but I'd like for you to pull the themes from your other 3 readings into the Big Ideas piece. And then lastly, for your application, I'd like for you to think through 5 ways that you can yourself cross-pollinate culturally responsive teaching practices with universal design in your own classroom community, be it your current classroom or a future classroom. And just as a reference here, we have the overall framework again. Just to say one more time, I am really looking forward to this term together. Please reach out at any point with any questions that you have, and I look forward to seeing you in our first live Zoom session. Details will be coming forward very soon. Take care and have a great day.